hello, hello, divine ones. Welcome. Today, the guides are going to be sharing a message in direct response to a viewer question. So, Adrian, thank you so much for your question. And the question is, how do we not judge each other? And what is the difference between judging someone and offering them an alternate perspective? And so the guides are going to talk about this today, but first they'd like to meet you and greet you. Dear ones, we are elated to talk about this topic of judgment, discernment, what is inherently good or bad. And like they're saying, spoiler alert, there is no inherently anything? Yeah, I think so. And we wish to talk about offering a perspective, your perspective. See how we said your perspective? Offering your perspective, and what is the difference between offering suggestions or perspectives versus judging someone else. So dear ones, let us harmonize energy with you for the most beneficial outcome of this message. So if you say yes, we say yes. Set your intention now to harmonize energy with us. Your heart, our heart, one heartbeat that plays a one song or a one tone or a one frequency of truth. And that this one heartbeat permeates everything. This one tone, this one frequency permeates everything. And we know that we say this often, but we it's like they can't say it enough. Because yes, maybe intellectually you understand these words, but beyond the words, there is a frequency. One frequency, one tone, one consciousness, one mind, one God. And this resonance of truth, to which we are all one, can be known by you, an internal knowing can be known by you because it is you. So it's like we can't say it enough. So that's why we always say that we have this one heartbeat. Let us remember it. And what is remembering? Is it the small self that is remembering? No need to worry. Because it is the small self that thinks it is doing the remembering. And maybe in one level or on one level of consciousness, yes, you may remember like an intellectual remembering, but there is a part of you that you might call the soul. And this part of you, there is no intellectual remembering, there is a knowing. It's like the soul hears the song. And it's like a music to its ears. It doesn't have ears, but you understand. Why is it music? Because it is a divine frequency to which it is one of, and it this divine frequency, this frequency of truth calls you home. It calls everything home. And it calls everything in. They're showing it to me like a warm embrace. It calls it's so beautiful. It calls everything in. And this is how we must hold each other. And this is how we must know each other with this kind of love. And it's a very like a nurturing love, like an unconditional love. There's a pure acceptance here. And this is our segue to today's message of judgment. Okay, harmonize. Shaya Korataya Shoraishi Amai Kotoshinia Alasho Akia proti, ana turikia tukosine asha, la tukuri. Husia shu. Dear ones, you must hold each other in deep love, in deep reverence. But the small self can't get there and stay there. Because there is always an up and down when this is when life is seen through the personality self perspective. It is the personality perspective that gets you into the hot water and causes a confusion. Because things are not inherently good or bad. Things are not inherently happy or sad, and things are not inherently confusing or not confusing, even though we see that some of you feel confused and or sad and mad, and also have this idea that, of course, this thing happened, death happened, this is very bad. Now they're saying this word, so I'm going to say it. And they're saying like, murder happened. Of course, this is bad. And they're saying to me, because I'm, questioning them, and why they can't just use something less like in your face than murder, right? Like, can you choose something different, right? Is what I'm like saying to them. And they're saying to me, one, it's not my message, and two, they need to say it, because they're saying to me, these are big things that we can all agree that these are like scary, sad, big trigger points, to a human experience. These are big trigger points to a human experience. So, of course, you look at a situation, but you're looking at it through who? Through the personality self and through the collective agreement to agree that things like death are bad. And we do not disagree, but we also do not agree. So from one perspective, we say, okay, something like death, of course, seems very awful. You love someone, they die. They might go through, you miss them, you long for them. And the person that died may have died through a way that was like an accident or murder, or something what you would call traumatic. And even though, yes, we agree with this, I also remember that it is your collective agreement. Is your collective agreement to what things mean, because for us, the guides, what we call death, they would call birth. You're like it's like a birth and birth. It's not like birth and death. It's like birth into one manifestation, birth into another manifestation, and it's very beautiful. It's very beautiful. But they understand that you don't experience it that way. And then they say, who is the you that is experiencing life? And it is through this ego perspective, or this small self perspective. And the ones that have not awoken, or do not want to awaken, pull the covers over your head, that do not want to awaken, they find this very hard to understand, because of course they are, through this perspective of personality self, and very feeling. And we don't tell you not to feel, we tell you to embrace your feelings, because they are like a portal to subtle energy. They're like a portal to subtle energy. So to embrace it, embrace your feelings, so that you know who you are and what you are and what you are not. This is like the first like level of this. So you might have sadness about your life events, whatever they may be. And they could be loss of a relationship, separation, divorce, many things that you might feel a loss or sadness around. And they say, there is, as they've said many times, and we say many times, is there's an aspect of you that, and the truest aspect of you, that is not affected by these things. And so then what is it that allows you to not judge each other? It is this aspect of you that is non-judgment. There is an aspect of you, the truest part of you, that is not judging. And so you might say, well, I need to judge because I use my judgment to know, whether or not to cross the street or whether or not to, do this X, Y, and Z. And they say, the divine aspect of you, or the divine as you, or you in your natural state, or with a realization of a higher, I just need the correct wording of this. In your natural state, in a realized state, like higher realization. So they say there's like levels of consciousness or levels of realization or levels of awakening. And as you go up through these levels, and it's not like they're showing me, it's not like a gold star. This is not like a reward system. And this is not like now I'm better because I'm so awakened. Because they say you can awaken and you can just as easily, go back. And when they say down, they mean frequency down. When they say up, they mean frequency up. So that's when they're saying like up, like these levels up. You can go to of fear and judgment, and all of these things can call your name. As you are awakening, they still are calling you. And because in some ways, it might even feel even more so, because you've had a level of like consciousness or awakening or realization that you didn't have before, and you might be feeling what you would call better, or you would be feeling more connected to like yourself, source, God, like however that is for you. Each is different. They respect that. However that is for you, and then you might find that you take a plummet back down. And this is not a negative situation. Like they spoke in another message about cleaning out underneath the bed. Sometimes you need to keep going back to see the things that you still haven't seen yet. Sometimes you need to, sometimes you need to awaken, and in awakening you get a light of awareness, the light of awareness, the light of divinity, the frequency of truth. And in it is this frequency that of love and of light that you bring back. So when you come back down frequency, so if you are awakening and you awaken and then you come, something happens and you come back down in frequency and you start engaging in your old patterns and behaviors. Reason for this is so that you can bring the light. As you come back down, you're never coming back down the same as you went up. You see, you hold on to this idea of who you were. You think the you that you are is the you that you were 10 years ago. And as you relive aspects of your life and go over them and over them, whether they're from like 12 years ago or whether they're from 2 days ago or 2 minutes ago, you relive them as you relive them at that time and in the personality self of that time. And so even if you are reliving them not through the personality self that you were at that time, you are bringing them forward, is the word they're saying, bringing them forward, bringing these events of the past or patterns or beliefs or things that have happened from the past. If you're bringing them forward now and you're bringing them through in the state you are now, not in the state you were like 12 years ago. Like when you're remembering them, you're not remembering them through the perspective of how you were 12 years ago. Let's use this example. Anasukurasa, you're remembering them, or you're bringing them through, and you're thinking of them through how you are today. Inasikarasa, it's still the small self. It's still a personality. Yes, it might be a different personality, if you would. It's not the you from 12 years ago that's remembering the thing that happened and is feeling sad or mad or whatever. It is the you of today. So let's say this, that you've done some what you might call personal work, and you are now rethinking about past experience through like an adult perspective, or you're thinking of it through the perspective of where you are today. Even the perspective of where you are today is still through the personality self. You see, in the personality self is always going to be the pop bottle glasses, the distorted glasses, because it is a dualistic experience. It is an experience born in separation. Isn't it true? Like that you feel separate. You feel separate from the things that you want. You feel separate from the things that you love, and you feel that the things that you want are outside of your grasp. They're not here now. You have to, dig and excavate is the word they're using. And Asikara said, this is the, okay. So you have to like dig and go out and get it. And Asikara, but the only excavation you need to do is in here. And Asikara to all those rocks that we've talked about previously that are you've been served, since birth on the tray. That is what is hiding, if you would, the light that is within you. And it is this light that brings we bring to situations. So if you are entering a situation with a friend or a loved one, and as you're entering this situation, you feel compelled to judge their way of life. And if only they would do it like this or do it like that, their life would be so much better. And it's very challenging to hear other people complaining, but not changing their lives. When the guides are like showing me from my own life, which I think I've mentioned in another video, or they've mentioned in another video, is just how that I've thought in previous, like if everybody just did yoga, everybody would just be so much more peaceful. And that's not true. That's not true. And I understand that now. And we have good intentions, right? We have good intentions. So I think that the guides are saying here, it is the personality self that is still attending to the matters. It's still attending to the relationships that you have with others. It's one personality and another personality coming together. And when you have two distorted lenses, you're always seeing not only yourself through distorted lenses, you're seeing each other through the same lenses you see yourself. So, all the distortion you see in you see it in another. And vice versa, because you're always looking through your lenses. So whatever distortion you have is what you're seeing. It's not the distortion of the world. It's not inherently existing in this way. It is your distortion of your perspective, of your personality self that is creating it. You think that your loved ones are a certain way, or your friends are a certain way, and you might sit around and say, oh, well, Sally is always like this, and Sally is always like that. And they say, Sally isn't like this or that, but your perspective makes it so. And while Sally may have taken actions, it is the way, and they've said this before, the way that these actions land for you, and the story that you create around the actions, and the story that has been created through time, through the collective. Like this equals this. Like we've talked about before, the narcissist is not inherently existing. The same way as your blonde hair, as we've said in other messages, is not inherently existing. Is a temporary manifestation. So if you peg people, pin them, to be how you wish them to be, and you say that this is how they are, this is how they are, but it's not how they inherently exist. It's not how they They are. It's how you believe they are. And in addition to this, each has their own path. And what looks like chaos to you is perfect for them. It is only your perspective that believes that what someone else is doing is not perfect for them. But sometimes people need to play in the mud and long enough, dig far enough into like a sinkhole to want to get out. And that was what was perfect for them. And sometimes they have chosen to play in this mud, which looks very dirty to you and very chaotic to you. But they have chosen to play in this mud. You might say, well, there's no way. Why would anybody choose this? And they say, because it's just your judgment that playing in the mud in this way and sinking in this way is very bad. You don't know what another person's trajectory is, journey. You don't know. You don't know what their next manifestation requires. And maybe their next manifestation requires that this manifestation, they play in the mud and they dig and they dig and they dig so that they know in the next manifestation what they need to know, like what you would call lessons learned, what they needed to know for the next manifestation. You're just thinking of like one life, birth and death, and this looks like a very sad life if you spent the whole life digging in the mud. And then you might feel sad for somebody or feel bad for them. And we say, yes, have empathy. Yes, have this. This is like a wonderful trait of your humanness, because being human is like a great gift. And in this gift, you get to experience this compassion and and you get to even experience the like opposite of compassion so that you can really know compassion. It's like in this human experience, how they're showing it to me and how I'm like experiencing it it's like in our true state, it's just pure compassion, unconditional love. And in taking a human manifestation, there is an opportunity for us, most people, to have a state where they are feeling the opposite of compassion. And that this opposite of compassion, while we might look at it as a very negative thing, they're showing it to me as it is actually like a great blessing somehow, because it is like light and dark. If you only have light, how will you ever know that you're light? But when you have a dark, you have a contrast, then you can have this really realization. Like if you're light, you know you're light, but you don't. You know you're light, but you don't know you're light. I just have to get more information on this. You know you're light. Of course, you know you're light. You know you're light. And they're showing me the love, and I'm feeling the love of this. Of being of being this light. It's beautiful. And it feels beautiful. But when you have the contrast, and you lose this feeling and you regain it again, it's the way that you know it, internal knowing, the way that you know it is even more. It's even more. It's even greater. So it is your judgment that really is a thing, that creates the friction in your life and in your relationships. And how do you not judge each other? And this is a very good question. And because this is how your world changes, right? Because your world is born on attachment to history, attachment to things being the way that they have been before, and to your world, humanity attending to the problems that you have or perceived problems of your world, like war, with more war. Like they're saying it like, congratulations, you've just baked the same cake that you've been baking forever. It's like the same, it's like the same thing. So ia toroko ia mai te karase chi ala karasa te koro. So you can't ia te karaso te kinama toroko ia karasa really move forward. Ia korosa, you can't really progress. Ia koroso chi a karasa unless something really changes. Ia koroso chi a karasa, but the personality self has a hard time with change. Ia koroso chi karasa, and Iniesta is very attached to self. It's very attached to self. It's very attached to all that it's built and the identity that it's built. And so therefore, through this, it's really like sticky and hard. But if you move beyond this small self perspective, then you will be able to abide in a way that is in pure love and pure unconditional love, where there is just understanding, peace and tolerance, and above all else, there is a knowing, an intellectual knowing. No, not intellectual. And beyond intellectual knowing, an internal knowing. And there is an internal knowing, and in this internal knowing, there is no judgment. Because when you see another one in the mud, you let them play. Why? Because you know with an internal knowing, this is part of their path. It is only your personality self that says that their chaos or their turmoil is somehow negative. So we say, the small self may not ever be able to not judge another because you use judgment all the time. However, the divine aspect of you, there is no judgment. And this is what we call you to. We call you to remembering this. We call you to take the steps or the actions, and they say that like ironically, take the steps or actions to be present, in which there are no more actions. Instead of your priorities being your list of things to do, the priority maybe is just be. So that's it. Just be. That could be the priority, in which your life will change. Because in presence, being present, you realize this divine aspect of you. This divine aspect of you is realized. And it is what you bring to this human experience, what you bring to your human interactions with others, you see? And these interactions and relationships don't necessarily get better from a small self perspective. Yes, there are relationships where people are getting along in harmony, yes. However, when you move beyond duality, when you move beyond time-space agreement, when you move beyond just the past ideas and beliefs and follow the leader and believing just everything, the stories, and even believing the stories about what you think about each other, and what good and bad is, what a good life is, what a bad life is, all of it. when you move beyond all of this, then you will know, and know the love that is here, and there is no judgment here. Now, how do you know the difference between offering your opinion or a different opinion or a different perspective versus judgment? And the question becomes, why do you feel the need to offer your opinion? Who is offering the opinion? And why is your opinion necessary? Why is your opinion right? These are questions to ask yourself. So because it is very interesting, isn't it? That once you begin to awaken, and you begin to have like realizations or feel better in your life, and then you want others to also feel better, and also can sometimes lower your tolerance for when others are feeling better. Isn't that interesting that as you awaken, sometimes part of the process is, yes, you might open up to feeling more tolerance for each other, but also there is some aspects of self, like personality self, that can also lose their tolerance, because now you want everybody. It's like when you smoke and you don't care because you're smoking and everybody's smoking, but when you become a non-smoker, then you hate smoke, and you hate smoking, right? Like this. So when you were unawakened, you didn't care. But once you become awakened, now you wish everybody to be awakened, but they're not. And another thing is that this is interesting. Another thing is that they're saying here is how do you not know, or I'm just asking for another way for they can say this to you, to us. And you think that you see someone that is not awakened because of their actions, and of course, their actions are showing something that you would perceive to be non-awakened, but they are showing me that actually there might be something that you're perceiving as a person that is not awakened, and they're appearing to you as not awakened. But please know that this is your own perspective and appearance, and that this person could actually be awakened. And like awakened or enlightened beings could take many forms, and some of those forms are not even forms, they're like shapes, geometrical shapes, that could be like in you, like in your like energy body, like a geometrical shape in your energy body. And that what seems and these are two different things, sorry if this is confusing. And what they're basically saying is just that there's like different something that seems very, very dark, or somebody that's not awakened, you might look at them and think that they are not aware, or they're not awakened, or they're not on a spiritual journey, or however you would put that language-wise. You might see that. And they're showing me that actually that person could be very, very awakened. So very awakened, like enormously awakened. They could be very realized. And taking this form for a purpose. That seems this way. So I'm asking, well, why? Why would somebody that is enlightened want to take a form that looks like a person that is like struggling, or something like this? So I'm saying, like, is experiencing like homelessness or something. Like, why why would this happen? Why would that happen? Or why would this be like this? Because they're telling me I don't understand. That there's so many agreements that are made. There's so much like interweaving interdimensionally. And so many like agreements that are made to appear to each other in various ways at various times. So you may know the truth of who you are. You are so limited by your ideas of life. Even when you think that you are going to die, and maybe you believe in reincarnation, and you think that you're going to have another life, you still think the you that you are right now, the personality that you are right now, that you are getting another life. But when you merge back to source, to one, there is no personality self anymore here. So now I started to go down a wormhole with them because I was asking questions that they'll answer at another time. Because they say that when you go back to one, there is no personality self, but you see that even you believe that the you that you are is advancing, and when you like have a reincarnation, that maybe your next life you're going to be like advancing, and that you like are believing. I used to could have said that it's you, the you that you are right now. I could have said because it's the small self, the personality self has such a strong hold, you see, and it is this personality self that feels the need to tell others how they should live their lives. So did someone ask you for your opinion? In which case, then maybe you might give it. Or offer a different perspective. Because often it's not met well if you are meeting fire with your own fire. You see, you might think that you are not meeting fire with fire because you are offering what you think is to be a solution. But it's only a solution to you. It's not necessarily a solution to somebody else. And even though you might be offering a solution to your loved ones, if they're not asking for your solution, then maybe they're just asking for your love and acceptance, the unconditional love that you are. And while the small self might not be able to offer this always, the divine aspect of you, and this is why it's so important to have this realization to tap into, merge in the present moment, with the truth of who you are, and bring this light to every situation. Otherwise, you're bringing your pop bottle glasses to your situation, and you're seeing the situation through the same glasses you see yourself. These are like one pair of glasses, and it is like distorted through your own personal lens, and they're showing it to me like those kinds of glasses, like a pair of plastic glasses where there's like a tiny little hole in the center of it, I think, and it's kind of like a strange thing. Like they're showing me the picture in my mind, and I'm hoping that my words can explain this to you when you get those glasses, where they look kind of like strange, and there's like a little hole, and you see like a tiny hole. They're saying like you each individually have your own like pop bottle lens that is like when water melts or a snowflake falls. It's very unique each time, like a water not melts, freezes. When the water freezes, it's very unique to you, like this. Like this, you each have your unique perspective. And so the way that you're relating to each other is through this, and it's not through unconditional love. It's not through but imagine what it would be like for you If in your times of challenge, someone didn't try to fix you, someone didn't try to sugarcoat it, offer you a new perspective, they just held space with this vibration of truth, with this vibration of unconditional love, in which this vibration of this, that you could then come to your own conclusions in the vibration of truth. And if you bring this to any situation, this is what can do the changing, not by your words, but by your vibration. When you bring this vibration to your situation, then you bring this unconditional love. And in this, others can bloom. Others can find their solution. Others can do what is the right thing. Others can know. They see by your example, lead by example, not by your words. Words are just words, and they are also through this like small self perspective. So first you must do for you. Realize the truth of who you are, and bring this to every situation. Like a dinner party, and you're always bringing like the jello with the marshmallows, because that was the Christmas tradition, or the tradition, birthday tradition, whatever it is here. This was the tradition to make the marshmallow jello. Marshmallow jello. To make the marshmallow jello, this is what it was. But now, no more do you bring this to the dinner party. You just bring love. And you don't have to manufacture it. You can just be it. Because that's what you are. And this is how. And there is no necessarily need to offer another your perspective through your pop bottle lenses, unless they ask for it, or maybe perhaps you have that kind of relationship with them. So they're showing me like I have a friend, and I like it when they will say something to me. So if I like say something and they'll be like, oh, well, what about this? Or did you notice this? And I'm like, oh yeah, thank you for that. Like, just thank you. Like if I'm doing something, I like if somebody like calls it out, like, and is like, oh, but I guess I don't necessarily know I'd love it if everybody was calling me out. I mean, I don't know. But like, I'm just saying like from like this perspective. So because like I'm saying to the guides now, yeah, of course, right? Like if just random people or people I was not like okay with that, like I didn't have that kind of relationship with them, and I was just somewhere and they started to like just say, hey, how about do like this or do like that, then maybe I wouldn't. And that's what the guides were showing me. And this is like how your loved ones could feel too, is like, oh yeah, like maybe you don't want to be called out or have somebody saying something to you all the time about like, oh, change this or change that, or why don't you think about this, or why don't you think about that? Like, it's just nice to be loved and accepted, as you are. And because eventually people awaken. And you don't need to run around and awaken them. You don't need to ring the bell and try to make them wake up. This only creates agitation. The way here is love. And in love they can awaken. Because in this vibration of truth, they are uplifted. And in the upliftment, they connect with their truth. The opportunity is there. It is always in light. It is always in this vibration of truth that like reconciles everything. Iniaso kotea toroko seishe ala karasaye koroso. So I'm just checking in with them now to see if there's anything else about this. Ia koroso chikarasa, you must love each other. Ia koroso chia karasa in an unconditional way. And as we have said, the small self may not be able to get there, but the divine that is you and as you is already there. Ia koroshikara, and this is what you must bring to your earth now. This is the what you would call solution to your perceived problems. Ia korotia karasa, ito korotia makarasa, because you are all just like have broken glasses on, and you're all just trying to navigate the earth with like these they're showing me like glasses with the eyes that go out like this, and glasses with the tiny slits in them where you can just see a little bit through them, and like cracks and stuff in glasses. And they're saying like everybody has their own glasses, but you're all just trying to like walk around with these like distorted glasses on and live a life through distortion. And there is no distortion in truth. What's true is always true. It's never not true. But the small self comes and goes and has never been true. It has been a creation temporarily, and you have believed that it is so concrete. And that it's you. And the time has come to have a new relationship with you, the truth of who you are, and relate in this way to yourself and with others. Okay, okay, I'm just going to check in here. Okay, anaso aiti anasai korotikira sai jukorai maya tokorete sineata kerasa. So the guys say they're so grateful. Anasi kerasa to share in this experience today, this message. Yukorose nekarasai chikarasa. Deep love and compassion is the doer. And the divine aspect of you, the divine as you, that is you, is the doer. And the small self is not the doer. And so maybe, dear ones, try. And instead of offering your opinion and perspective when you haven't been asked for it, what is it like for you to instead connect in with the divine that you are, the divine aspect of you, and see if there's anything to be said at all. And maybe there is something to be shared that is greater than words. It is a vibrational frequency of love and acceptance. This is what will change your world. Niatrai kanaso. Ayaso karayechi amakara sotokia taiso. Naisho. Okay, thank you so much to the guides for sharing this message today. And thank you so much, Adrian. Thank you for your questions, and I really appreciate them. And the guides love to talk. They love to talk. So yeah, thank you so much for everyone for your questions and comments. And if you have any questions for the guides, you can always leave them in the comments box, and they'll answer them as they can. They say that they answer it when the vibration is the right time. That's how they answer it, when the vibration is the right time. And they say sometimes we have a lot of like intellectual questions, and they'll answer those as sort of needed. Because what's more important than filling your head with concepts is your heart being full with a love. So the vibration is very important. They say more important than even their words is the vibration that has been shared through this frequency, through this transmission, this frequency that has been shared through this transmission. Anasukorosa is more important than any of the words that they could ever speak. Yokoroso chikorosa, or any of the words that come out of my mouth. Yokorosa chikorosa is more important than any of this, is love. Yokoroso chikorosa, and think about this with your loved ones. Your presence, your pure presence, is a present, is a gift that you give each other. Yokoroso chiakarasai, because from presence, the truth of who you are springs forth. Iakarasai, this is the best gift you could give, much more than any opinion that you could share with your mouth. Yokorose ikarasa. And they say, you can share your opinions, yokorosai chikarasa, but just please remember, and I say yokorosai chikarasa, to think about it first, yokorosai chikarasa, and then maybe instead of answering through small self, personality self, that you connect with truth and you bring this truth through to your relationships, and you notice how they change and how you change. And Anasio Koroso, as a result of aligning with truth, Iakarasa Chikoroso, aligning with love, Iakoroso Chikarasa, rather than stumbling around in the dark with the pop bottle glasses. Iokoroso Chikarasa, that's very challenging, isn't it? Iyokorosai chikara, those glasses, Iyokorosai chikara, they get you in a lot of trouble. Iyokorosai chikara, they show me people like crawling on the ground, like searching for things. Iyokorosai chikara, always looking for something that is just right here, right now. And take off the glasses, which is the persona of self, and step into the unknown, ekerasa, that is beyond identification with the glasses and the ego. Iakarasa, chikarasa, come home to the sakarasa, ekarasa, sakarasa, it's saying, step into the unknown to come home to what is known. Iokorosa, chikara, takarasa, yes, 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 Iokorasa, yes, very good. And isikorasa, chikarasa, and isakarasa, saikorasa, we are very pleased, Iokorosa, takarasa, with this transmission today. Iokorosa, chikarasa, we are very grateful. And isiokoroso, and isikoroso, karasa, ekarasa, thank you, sakarasa, dear ones, we love you deeply. Anisio turkarea takarasaya chikoroso so. Okay, anasaya korosia shakara. Okay. All right, thank you so much to the guides and to you. Thank you for your questions. And as always, we're sending you so much love. Thank you.